Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, a World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here I am, John Sneisen, and go figure, Germany has come up with another bad idea. I think that's a
The
historical
European
joke
Union
there.
was terrible as it was.
Ugh, God, but do you remember like things like universal remotes? Not such a bad idea, right? I mean, you can control different things with the same remote. It makes it a lot more simple for individuals to use their appliances around the house. But I mean, this is going to be much bigger scale and can create more of a control complex and more of a digital control complex than ever before. So as CNN reports, and yes, I know CNN, they're a big fan of Germany, so we're going to elaborate on their article. Definitely, I mean, their article is absolute trash, and they're promoting it. But let me just go into some of what the article says, and it's called Germany's Plan to Kill Online Registrations. And the article says, this could be the beginning of the end for all those mind-numbing online account registrations. Germany's corporate giants are promising a brave new future in the form of a single account, one that will let you do your online shopping, get a flight, and rent a car, all with no more registrations or repetitive passwords. Deutsche Bank, oh, there we go, Deutsche Bank, Germany's biggest bank, announced Monday it's teaming up with other big firms to create a new company that will create the service. Users would enter their ID details just once before they can make all their online purchases across multiple sites. The partners, which include Mercedes-Benz, maker Daimler, insurer Allianz, and publisher Axel Springer, hope other firms will sign up to their vision. They're calling it a pan-industry platform for online registration, e-identity, and data services. The program could eventually be expanded to include government services. For example, drivers could apply for new license through the system before their old one expires. The partners expect the program will be running in Germany by mid-2018, and they stressed it will be secure and comply with all European Union data protection rules. So, John, let's go into this a bit.
If you had a PayPal account that you hooked up to that account, of course, the government, and you made some money on the side in your PayPal account, the government could come and tax that money automatically now. Well, of course, it's a fantastic idea. All these centralized idea, just more centralization, everything has to be completely centralized.
And controlled. And, for the benefit, to stop crime, to make things more convenient, all these faulty ideas. Yeah. I mean, it's always these ideas that are based on convenience for individuals that always turn into the worst things. And that's why the German government, don't get me wrong, a lot of the German people are really good people, and I know several of them, but the German government just doesn't stop coming up with terrible ideas, just historically terrible ideas since the beginning of Germany in general, and it's just so mind-numbing.
Well, it's all those collective ideas. Now, of course, I have a lot of good things to say about certain industries in Germany because of their, of course, their engineering skills. They have a vast, elite, high, great engineers.
Yeah, they're good at producing products.
But the problem is they're terrible at running governments, and they showed it during the last 100 years. We've seen the Second World War, and then, of course, the idea of the European Union, and all these other bullshit ideas. Now, of course, decentralization has also to do with the cashless society approach that they're working on. This is just another key step in the right direction for these. Of course, the main reason why Deutsche Bank is involved here is because they want to have this as a work on to make the cashless society a lot easier for people to use, of course. So they forget how dangerous it is when the bank owns your money at all given times.
They don't forget anything. They know exactly what they're doing. Rights. It's in the right direction for them, not us, and not as individuals. And this all comes as Austria is trying to tax the internet as well.
Tax the internet.
Yeah, and tax Google searches. But, I mean, it's just so absurd what's happening with this. And just to go into the cashless society quickly, I always do a quick rundown of what a cashless society is. So we're not talking about Bitcoin here. We're not talking about the decentralization. We're talking about centralized cashless society, digital currency that goes through the banks. So if your money's in the bank, it's not your money, it's the banks. And if your money's always going through the banks at all times, it's always the banks, and you have no privacy. And the banks, therefore, enslave you under their cashless system. And they're trying to push that into the special drawing rights, SDR, at the United Nations.
And they press delete and you're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to make this a world currency and all that. So, I mean, yeah, it's all about that technocracy that, people like
Patrick Wood,
Patrick
yeah,
Wood talks
yeah.
about. And I really think that it's just more of an example of the dangerous liberalism or leftism of just absolute control and centralization. And, Germany goes from extreme intolerance to extreme tolerance, and both are wrong. Individualism is what is right in this mix. So when we're talking about collective intolerance, Hitler's Germany, horrible, disgusting. Of course, we always get those crazy comments below our videos. The Holocaust never. Yes, it did. But
Well,
then
I've had family members that did suffer through that. So if you
yeah.
believe that, then you're kind of yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
what
my
to say about
grandmother had
it.
to play
Sorry.
dead in a field as stormtroopers were marching through our village and breaking windows and doing terrible things. And that was in Holland. But just apart from that, I don't
Yeah.
want to get into that
No,
whole
no.
argument
Yeah.
because that will be fun to deal with
Yeah.
later. But it's just from that extreme intolerance to the extreme tolerance of this collective equality that no matter how much work you do, you're always equal to the guy who does nothing. And the fact that people have to be extorted to create this kind of equality and lack of, or this new diversity, when really they're just really doing the same thing that the Jim Crow laws did, the same thing that the KKK did, where they are just splitting up different races. And segregation, that is what it's all about. So just kind of closing it off, John, what do you think would be the bottom line for this report?
Well, the bottom line is just another way to make the internet more centralized and more controlled by the big corporations that work together with the government today. There is, of course, the last steps that they want to take to fully integrate you as that one entity that they can control. Because if you have several entities all around the place, you're a lot harder to control. So they want you to put in your ID, maybe your passport or your government ID, of course, and then you're completely connected into this grid that they're working on.
Absolutely. And I'm convinced that Merkel and her puppet masters, of course, because Merkel isn't just like the top dog here, but she is a dog. I think that the whole idea is that they want to lead that global government initiative, and I do believe that it's clear as day when Germany's trying to lead the EU army into war with Russia and create this global initiative, and then Deutsche Bank is working so hard towards this special drawing rights initiative as well.
Oh, of course, yeah, they're on a complete total grid, and they want to merge everything into this one entity, which is, of course, the SDR and the United Nations, because they have the government in place already. They have, and you can look at it. I actually talk about it in my next book that's coming out. This big global structure that they're building to have that global government, one currency, one taxation, and one collective.
Absolutely. It's all about collectivism versus individualism, folks.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to in the end when it comes to freedom. Absolute, real, true freedom. Now, thanks for going into this as well, John, and we'll be back at you with much more. Check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so incredibly demonetized and censored, and we wonder why. You could tell by this report and others that we've been doing lately. But also, we have a Bitcoin address in the description and the comments as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check our link to the Red Pill Expo where you can join us in Bozeman, Montana in June and see incredible speakers such as G. Edward Griffin, Robert Kiyosaki, Richard Gage, Lord Moncton, James Corbett, Cynthia McKinney, Ty Bollinger, Mike Adams, John Rappaport, and so many incredible speakers. We hope to see you there. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.